You are listening to FTNS, world's first fitness radio. Online at ftns.co. Live the FTNS lifestyle. Follow the FTNS 4-step foundation of focus, train, nourish, sustain. A holistic approach to a balanced health of mind, body, and spirit. Focus. Envision your goal to get inspired. Train. Learn how to stay active and use proper techniques so you'll see results. Nourish. Proper nutrition and hydration are keys to staying healthy and energized. Sustain. The essential 3 R's to sustain your routine. Rest and relax to recover. Build a fitness lifestyle on the FTNS Foundation. Thank you for breaking new ground with FTNS, world's first fitness radio. FTNS Radio reaches out to over 70 million online radio listeners in North America who can log in via the web at ftns.co from any computer, mobile device, or download the free FTNS iPhone app. FTNS Radio will include a wide range of shows such as strength training, bodybuilding and figure, nutrition, motivation, family, youth, elderly fitness, wellness, lifestyle fitness, interviews with professionals and enthusiasts, and much more. Programming will contain a mixture of live studio shows that encourage listeners to call 650-ASK-FTNS or tweet in. Shows hosted over the phone, as well as remote recorded shows where our hosts travel to the story. FTNS Radio is the missing link to help make fitness personal and create a stronger community. FTNS helps listeners to focus, train, nourish, sustain, and foster the fitness community. Follow FTNS on Facebook.com/GoFTNS. Stay tuned for more exciting new shows as we build the fitness community brick by brick. Tune in at 10 a.m. Eastern for Fit You. Your hosts, John and Kelly, will discuss fitness, nutrition, and a lifestyle that will fit you. At noon Eastern, it's time for Jumpstart. Chad and Kat will help you sort through all the fitness myths with the experts in a high-energy format that will definitely pump you up. Listen in to Your Health is Your Wealth with Dr. Cindy at 1 p.m. Eastern. Naturopathic Dr. Cindy Anderson will help you understand your body from a holistic approach. At 3 p.m. Eastern Time, listen to The Nutrition Scoop with nutritionist Jerry Zatkoff. She will cover the latest and ever-changing nutrition information. The Body Shop at 9 p.m. Eastern. It's no accident. Hosts Andre Bricks, St. Clair, and Brian Canone share with you the reality of the bodybuilding and fitness modeling industry as they follow challengers through the Fitness Atlantic competition. This is FTNS. Need FTNS on the go? There's an app for that. Download the FTNS app for your iPhone, iPad, or iPod Touch now. FTNS, world's first fitness radio, will keep you moving. The Body Shop connects you with the hottest fitness models in the world. Learn the backstage secrets that most successful bikini divas, fitness models, and bodybuilders use to dominate their competition and land on the covers of magazines. Only here at the Body Shop will we allow you to listen and talk to the best of the best in fitness competition. If you're passionate about bodybuilding and fitness, you have found your new home. All of us here at FTNS Radio would like to welcome you to the Body Shop. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome your host, Andre Bricks St. Clair.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for allowing me into your homes and into your airwaves on FTNS Radio. Thank you for allowing the Body Shop to do what we do and try to make stars out of you. Now, I am your host, Andre Bricks St. Clair, along with my in-studio co-host, Mr. Brian Canone.
Hey, Andre.
Big B.
What's going on?
Hey, man, you know what? I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Okay? Let's put a little word association. Okay? When I say Danbury, Connecticut, what comes to your mind?
Danbury, Connecticut, the mall.
Okay. When I say Gold's Gym, what comes to your mind?
Comes to mind.
Yeah, when I say Gold's Gym.
Working out.
Okay. Now, All of these things have something in common, okay?
Okay.
Pay attention. Lindsay Lohan, Kim Kardashian, OCC Choppers, Kid Rock, Diddy, Neo, Russell Simmons, Alicia Keys, Tiki Barber, DMC of Run DMC fame, Brooke Hogan, Robin Thicke, Fashion Week, Maxim, FHM, US Weekly, Star, and In Touch. All of those names of magazines and names that I pronounced have something in common. Do you know what that is?
Is it your Rolodex?
Well, besides that, stay off my phone too. No, what they all have in common is our caller.
Okay.
Celebrity photographer out of Danbury, Connecticut. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Body Shop, Mr. Alan Berry. Alan.
Guys, what's happening?
Hey, man, how you doing out there?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, man. Listen, thank you for calling into the Body Shop right here on FTNS Radio. We appreciate you taking time out of your day.
Well, thank you very much for having me, and that was a impressive introduction.
Your impressive amount of clients that you've had here. That's what we're looking at.
Oh, man, you know what?
I actually can live up to any of that.
Well, you know what? Your reputation definitely precedes you, man. So, I want to start off with a different type of question, okay?
Go ahead.
And that is, how did you initially become involved with Gold's Gym and then later owning Gold's Gym? Like, what was that like?
When I was in college at the University of Connecticut, I played a lot of racquetball and I worked out a lot. And they had, even for that time, they had pretty good facilities there. And when I graduated, I still had a real interest in the sport and in working out. And I always thought that I'd like to be able to create a business similar to what was in the public sector, making the private sector and make it something a little bit more special. And that gave me the opportunity, along with some other things that came along, to create a pretty large fitness facility, which I'm very proud to say still stands today, now operates under the New York Sports Club banner.
Wow.
We operated as a Gold's Gym.
Oh, okay. Now, I mean, I really don't want to, hopefully I'm not being intrusive when I ask this question, but why did you decide to sell the Gold's Gym over to New York Sports Club?
Well, the business had grown and grown and grown. I mean, to the point where we had close to 4,000 members. The facility was open 17 hours a day. There was just a significant, when I say significant, it was a huge staff. And actually, that was not my primary business.
Okay.
So I was spending, happily so, spending a lot of time on the project. But I felt, hey, I had a great time with it. Created something that I was really proud of. People were really enjoying it. I thought, you know what? It's time to move on.
Okay. Now, is that when you moved on to photography, or was photography always a hobby or a love of yours?
Well, hobby was always a love of mine.
Okay.
As a practical matter, most people, I don't know, I guess I should probably keep this a secret, but I'm assuming there's more than a few people listening to this. But I actually have a Juris Doctorate degree, and I'm an attorney, and that's sort of like my day job.
Okay.
And I'm blessed because I love being able to do that. And but I've always been involved and had a passion for photography.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now, when you mentioned that you're a lawyer, you're personal injury, correct?
Yeah, my firm handles catastrophic personal injury and complex medical malpractice.
Wow,
and,
that's a mouthful.
So we're very often involved with clients who, unfortunately, who are involved in training and in fitness at various levels in various sports, who have injuries. We work closely with nutritionists, trainers, physical therapists, to the point, orthopedics and neurologists that have specialization in bringing people back to a level of health and fitness so they can continue on with their pursuits in the fitness area.
Okay. With your law degree, okay, you actually have a vast knowledge of contracts and things that require signatures. When you're when you're offering a photo shoot to someone, okay, are you giving them like a typical contract with the TFPs, time for photos, time for CDs? Are you offering them like exclusive rights, or do you own exclusive rights to their photos, and is it like a co-ownership, or how exactly
the reason
does that
Andre's
work out?
asking is we've been talking to a lot of photographers, and our question is always on the release forms and how complicated they can be sometimes for someone doing a photo shoot. So I think that's, again, why you're bringing that up in that question.
Yeah, I think it's a really good question. Look, I hate to say this, but many circumstances are different.
Okay.
So there's not really one specific form that fits all. And anybody that would suggest to you, well, I have this standard model release, well, there's just no such thing.
Right.
There are a lot of things that we want to consider, but I could tell you for myself, for example, if I shoot something that's TFP, it's because I really want to wanted it added to my book. I do that very rarely, but even in those circumstances, all the rights to those images remain with Alan Berry Photography. I have, I guess it's sort of a quirk of mine, but unless I'm getting paid an extraordinary amount of money for the image, I never transfer the rights to those pictures to anybody else. As a practical matter, a good model release will facilitate the photographer to retain the rights in the image to a large extent, to be able to use them, alter them in any way, promote them in any way, use them in any way. And guys, I think that if you're running into an issue with that, you probably need to hire an attorney that has a lot of expertise in that area, and I'm sure I could recommend somebody to you.
Okay, you know what? I'm now. Would the person you recommend, would that happen to be Alan Berry?
It could be. I don't want to say specifically, but
yeah, I'm sure you know him very, very well. No, actually, Alan, I'm actually glad that you did say that, because here at the Body Shop, when I have an in-studio guest who happens to be a fitness model or a figure model, or even an up-and-coming bodybuilder, and they're asking us, okay, well, do you guys have contacts that will allow me to get on the magazines, or can you set me up for a photo shoot?
They all want the photo shoot.
Right.
They all want it, and they have zero knowledge of how it's about, like what is entailed. There's so many photographers that offer free photos to them all the time, but they don't understand exactly what they're always getting into, because sometimes they take these photos and then they don't realize that the photographer owns rights, and they just don't realize it. And it's like, or they just take this picture and they crop it, or they'll do a shoot, they crop the photographer's name off it, and they give it away to magazines and people like they own it, because they think, well, I'm in it, I own it.
Right. Now, what advice would you give out to somebody that wants to do a photo shoot, and they're presented with a large stack of forms to sign, and they clearly don't understand what it is that they're signing, and they're not thinking about, okay, maybe I should get a lawyer. They're just like, I don't understand this, but I'm going to sign it. What advice would you, as a photographer now, what advice would you give them on signing any documents of that nature?
Listen, as a photographer, I am presenting those exact documents to my models, and I'm really not suggesting to them, by the way, let's adjourn the photo shoot while you retain counsel and review this.
That's exactly why. Right. You know what? Like that. That is exactly why I asked that, because I wanted to see if it would pose some type of like conflict of interest between the day job and the thing that you love to do.
Really, just on that point, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but just on that point, one thing really has nothing to do with the other.
Okay.
I'm there strictly as a photographer. I'm not giving anybody legal advice.
Okay.
But beyond that, one of the things that I try to do is I try to get in the larger shoots, the very big commercial shoots that I'm involved with. We negotiate the releases and the rights up front before the shoot even takes place. So by the time we get to the shoot, this is not even an issue. Right. And as a practical matter, I would say that anybody that's got talent in the fitness industry that's looking to develop a book, when they're working with photographers, there are a million guys out there that we call GWCs, guys with cameras.
I thought I made that up. I thought I made that up.
Yeah, you thought, I guess.
You may have.
Now, for some reason, I believe Alan beat you to the punch on that one.
I got to give you fair attribution then, okay? So, fact matters, there's a million of these people out there. What they're going to do with these pictures is hard to know. But I would say to anybody that's out there that's looking to, if they're going to shoot with somebody that's TFP, on a trade basis, there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, listen, before we get together for the shoot, aside from any other details, like is there going to be hair, makeup, stylist, tell me about location, theme, this, that, and the other thing, send me over a copy of the release that you can expect me to sign.
Right.
That way, you can take a look at it in advance. You're not standing in the middle of a studio with 10 people standing around looking at you, and you are under the pressure of saying, well, I guess I better sign this, otherwise the shoot isn't going to happen.
Right.
And it's just smart for the photographer also to do that because, again, you don't want to run into a situation where somebody says, hey, I don't know if I feel comfortable about signing this document. And look, as a practical matter, very few, I don't think I've ever seen anybody actually look at the release and read it.
No, probably not.
Right.
And
I wouldn't think so.
Very, very rarely. And as a practical matter, most releases, even the most generic types or even some of the most specialized types, have at their core language that says, you don't have any right to this photograph when I take it. It might be a picture of you, but it's my picture of you. I can do with it whatever I want. And if you, as the subject of that photograph, want to restrict that in some way, that's something that you need to talk about up front.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Or pay for that shoot.
Or pay for the shoot so that you then can say, seeing how I'm paying for it, this is what I expect with regard to the limitation of the rights. And unfortunately, again, because there's an awful lot of people out there with cameras, and there are an awful lot of, I will say, young women and some young men as well, who are they're highly motivated. They really want to get involved in the business, and they're very anxious, and they're a little naive. They have no idea where those pictures will end up.
Okay.
And that's why it's especially important to pay attention to those kinds of facts. Get that out of the way up front, have a great shoot.
Right.
Okay, now, as we're talking about GWC, which is guys with cameras, Alan, what I want to know is, what is your favorite kind of camera to shoot with? And also, what is your favorite type of photography? Is it black and white? Is it stills? Is it moving shots? Is it nature? I want to know about all them things, as well as how you got into celebrity photography. And I'll get that answer from you right after these commercial breaks. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to The Body Shop. I am your host, Andre Brick St. Clair, on the line with Alan Berry. We'll be right back.
FTNS is excited to announce 3 new shows. Weeknight 6 p.m., Boomers Rock. Get up, get out, keep rocking. Life starts at 50. Motivation and advice for the next 50 years of your life. Hosted by personal trainer Tom Batt. Tuesday 7 p.m., Rowing Illustrated. Hour of Power, where real rowers talk rowing. Hosted by champion rower Sean Wolf. Listen and learn about the world of rowing as Sean talks to the top competitors in the world. Wednesday, 7 p.m., Dr. Sid. Learn how to improve function and performance and avoid injuries just like the Olympians. As host Dr. Sid McCauley, chiropractor and sports rehabilitation specialist, shares his state-of-the-art techniques. Need FTNS on the go? There's an app for that. Download the FTNS app for your iPhone, iPad, or iPod Touch now. FTNS. World's first fitness radio will keep you moving.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Body Shop with me, your host, Andre Brick St. Clair, my in-studio co-host, Mr. Brian Canone. And on the phone, we have Alan Berry. All right, he's the former owner of Gold's Gym, which has now been sold to the New York Sports Club. So he's a very successful photographer. Shot with the lights of Lindsay Lohan, Kim Kardashian, Neo, Russell Simmons, etc., etc., etc. Now, Alan, right before our break, I asked you, as a photographer, what is your favorite type of camera to shoot with, and what kind of photos would you say is your coup de grace?
Well, I shoot exclusively with Nikon equipment. I'd like to say Nikon about 15 times and have you guys broadcast that to send me more gear. But whether they do or not, I got to say I'm a big Nikon fan. You know, there's a lot of people that it's either Nikon or Canon when it comes to 35 millimeter, and it's like the people that argue about Ford and Chevy, it's the same deal. I happen to like Nikon. I happen to like the Nikon glass. I like the Nikon lighting equipment, and it's something that I grew up with, and that's how it tends to be. So I shoot exclusively with Nikon bodies, Nikon lenses. I shoot all highest end bodies and lenses and lighting, which you got to make the investment. It's not so much that, hey, you know, a good camera makes a good photographer. That's not it, because a really good photographer, we should be able to get good results with even a mediocre camera. But when it comes down to the kind of environments and situations that I find myself in, the highest quality equipment really makes the difference in terms of being able to capture the right images. So I'm with Nikon all the way on that. In terms of what I like to shoot, I like to shoot a variety of things. I can't tell you that I'm a very big nature or landscape photographer. I'm not. That's a wonderful field, but it's not me. I really like shooting people. Okay. I've always shot cars. I did a lot of work in the past for the late great Paul Newman and Newman Sharp Racing Team, which included Tom Cruise at a point, and so I've been around the racing environment a lot and shot a lot of in the racing realm and collected antique cars myself. So I really like shooting cars. I like shooting planes, boats, things like that. But, you know, that's a guy thing. And, of course, the guy thing, I like shooting beautiful women.
Ooh,
come on. Lucky that I've had the opportunity to shoot a lot of really beautiful, wonderful, interesting women. And I've had the opportunity to shoot a lot of very interesting people in general. If you take a look at my book, you'll see, you know, there's a cross-section. It's not 100% women. There's a lot of interesting men, and everybody has a story, and every face tells a story, and that's what I like to shoot.
Right. Okay, now, with every face having a story and every body having a story, your story, is it that you like to shoot stills, or would you rather catch, like, a live-action shot? Or I guess the word that most likely fits in this question would be, do you prefer candid shots?
Well, good question. A lot of what I shoot is called photojournalistic. That's a pretty popular phrase right now. And photojournalistic really means capturing people candidly, so that the shots are not set up and posed. Some of the most interesting shots can be obtained when they're shot on a candid basis. Mm-hmm. I love last year Brian's phenomenal Fitness Atlantic, which was just an incredible, incredible show. And I can't imagine how he's going to top it this year, but I'm pretty confident he is. You know, some of the most interesting pictures that I was actually able to capture were people backstage, like waiting to go on, getting ready, and then capturing them on stage, where they weren't necessarily looking straight into the camera for posing. For me, they're posing for the judges. But those kinds of shots were really great because this is really showing you who the people are, and it really gives you a great interest. So I really, really enjoy that. On the other hand, I really also like creating individual images that are more portrait-like, that may be more in the genre of a still photograph, as you would say. Mm-hmm. Because in that circumstance, I get to control so many aspects of what that image looks like. I get to control the expression. I get to control the lighting. Lighting is extremely important to me. And in a photojournalistic environment, shooting backstage, shooting in front of the stage, wherever I'm going to be shooting, I can't control a lot of the lighting in those circumstances. But lighting, to me, that's what photography is all about. So I want to create some beautiful lighting. I like to really work with my models in terms of expression, both in terms of their faces and body language and positioning. Their hands, very important to me. So to me, I can't say that I have a preference. I love doing both. It's very exciting, the run-and-gun photojournalism, photojournalistic style. A lot of people, you know, lump me into this category from some of the stuff that I've done, paparazzi. And, you know, it is interesting, shooting red carpets and shooting events like Brian's great events. But shooting in the studio and capturing very, very interesting moments is also very, very rewarding for me.
Okay. As opposed to shooting in the studio, I want to piggyback off of something that you touched on and something that our listeners may not particularly know about you. You stated that when you came to Brian's show last year, it was a great show, and you're wondering how he's going to top that. I may touch up on that in the next segment. But one of the fitness models that won Brian's show was Tiffany Tillinger. And when you did the photo shoot with Tiffany, you actually took her outside of the studio and brought her to a mansion. Tell us what that was like, and where did you get that creative inspiration to come up with that type of concept?
Thanks. It's a great question, and let me just say, Tiffany is really the most incredible representative of a wonderful sport. I know she's a great friend of Brian's, and their relationship is extremely important. And the two of them, to me, they stand as real pillars of what the fitness industry is all about. The people that are working hard to promote and bring awareness to the industry, and the people that compete and struggle to do the best and to put on the best performance that they can. So I can't say enough about Brian and Tiffany as far as the show is concerned. And outside of the show environment, when I talk about studio, I got to backtrack. I shoot very little in the studio. Even the things that I shoot that look like studio, mostly shot on location. I really prefer to shoot on location. I bring studio lighting with me. As far as where we shot Tiffany, I wanted to shoot Tiffany in two different environments, and not the typical environment that you find Tiffany in. Typically, you might find her in the gym. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you'll find her at home as well on occasion. Mm-hmm. But I had this beautiful home that just really spoke to me of this beautiful woman, very elegant, very sophisticated, just a wonderful person. The home itself was just really beautiful and warm. I thought to myself, she will be great within this environment, that we can create some really beautifully lit pictures. It's not a studio, but it is a far better environment. It doesn't have that cold, gray aspect that's often just a harsh studio environment. And then we went outside, and luckily at this incredible house, there was a magnificent pool with a view of like 50 miles to the horizon, and it was a gorgeous sunny day. And I gotta really be honest. If you're taking pictures of somebody like Tiffany Tillinger, if you show up and push the button, there's about a 90% chance you're going to have an outrageous photograph.
Wow. Wow.
So, I'd like to take credit for creating some really fantastic images, but oh my gosh, she's just incredible. And she's incredible from the inside out. She's just beautiful from the inside out. Fiancé Sean is a great guy, and we had a great day. And to me, that was one of the great examples to me of why I really love what I do, because I got to meet some new people that I didn't know before, got to learn about them. We spent a wonderful day together. We had a great time. We created some great images, and it was really, really just a really, really happy occasion.
I know she really enjoyed that a lot.
Yes.
I mean, you could go get a photo shoot at a studio and just bang out some pictures, but she just had a great experience the whole day. She was just like bragging about how much of a good time she had.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. We stay in touch regularly, and I'm looking forward to seeing her. Mm-hmm. And I'm really happy to share with you guys on my website, if you don't mind me saying it.
No. Go right ahead and plug it. Go right ahead and plug the website.
Photography.com. The highest statistically viewed gallery on my website is Fitness Atlantic 2010. It's more highly viewed than my celebrity gallery, which includes Diddy, Lindsay Lohan, Neo, Vivica A. Fox, Kid Rock, you name it. That's a very, very highly viewed gallery, mm-hmm. But Fitness Atlantic just kicks everything else's butt. I have to say, including my own portfolio, which I got to say, well, okay, I guess that's what those pictures really speak to a lot of people. And Tiffany's pictures, within that, they rate very, very highly, and she has her own separate gallery on my website. It gets tremendous traffic.
Right.
So Brian's creation has, as far as I'm concerned, I can see every day. Every day there's dozens and dozens of people specifically coming to look at the pictures of what Brian created. And as I said, what he created last year to me was unbelievable. This year is going to be incomprehensible.
Oh, man. Well, you know what? Okay. Alan, I'm not sure if you know, but I will let the cat out of the bag, okay? For our listeners who are new to the Body Shop right here on FTNS Radio, and you hear the name Brian Cannone, Brian not only runs but operates one of the largest all-natural fitness competitions in the Northeast, okay? And that's called the Fitness Element Championships. Now, this year, we're going to be at the Oakdale Theater, okay? Now, when I say the Oakdale, I'm not talking about, one little room that's rented out. I'm talking about the entire thing, the dome, the stage, everything. And one of his guest celebrity stars is going to be the creator of P90X, Tony Horton. All right?
Well, I don't know if you know this, Andre, but
What's that?
when I was looking for a celebrity guest,
Yeah.
I called Alan.
Oh, did you?
And we talked about, the effect of bringing in a celebrity and what it has on an event,
Right.
and about the idea. And actually, he was someone I asked a lot about it.
Nice. Okay. So now, Alan, as I'm looking at your photography page, okay,
Yes.
I'm drawn to two things, and there are a couple of pictures. One is a young up-and-coming bodybuilder doing a back rear double bicep, and there's another photo of a friend of mine named Jomo Crawford.
Yes.
The reason I'm drawn to those two is the contrast in the photography itself. And what I want to know is, do you prefer color photos, or are you more partial to the black and white photos?
I wish I had a good answer for you on that one. And I'm sorry that I have to sort of hedge it on this.
No. That's good. That's good.
There's certain images that speak to me in color.
Okay.
But there are other images that there's something about them that says, no, you know what? There's a drama that you see in the black and whites. If you take a look at some of the wonderful competitors on stage, that was so colorful. It was the stage lighting was phenomenal.
Yes.
The graphics were phenomenal. I couldn't imagine shooting any of those in black and white. But that said, one of the most popular images that I have is a black and white image that I captured on stage, but we took all the color out of the background and everything else, and it's drama. It has a lot of drama to it. There's a way that I have. Everybody has their own special sauce in terms of how they process images. I'm not saying mine is better than anybody else's. It's a constant learning process.
Secret sauce.
Secret sauce. Yeah. Thanks to all of our friends at Adobe. But yeah, you know what? There are just some pictures that say, "Man, this is so dramatic. It's got to be in black and white."
Absolutely.
So that's I don't have a preference. It's just that some things just speak to me that way.
Okay. Now, you're going to be at Brian's show April 16th at the Oakdale Theater.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you going to be giving away any packages, or like what's your primary function?
Well, that's a two-part question. So
Okay. I apologize for that, but
Brian has very graciously offered me the opportunity to photograph the winner of the overall Bikini Diva competition.
Okay.
And that will be, I'm hoping it will be a fairly valuable prize to whoever wins it. That's what Tiffany Tillinger won last year, and that's how we got to have the great relationship that we had. So I'm really looking forward to offering that to the winner of that competition. I'm going to be shooting a lot of people there. Again, this sort of photojournalistic style, which is represented on my website to begin with, probably going to be a lot more intense this year. And what my involvement is going to be?
Yes.
I'm going to start with. I'm hopefully going to start with very early in the morning, following Brian around.
Okay.
And I'm going to try to document his remaining conscious until midnight.
You know what? It is kind of interesting that you do say that, because as you speak so highly of the show that Brian puts on, To the average competitor, they truly do not understand the amount of work that goes into a production of this nature.
You're so right.
Right. Now, whether it's, at the Oakdale Theater, which is a great venue, or whether, it's at the Palace Theater or it's at East Haven High School, Brian takes the time to pay attention to the little details that a photographer of your caliber can appreciate. What I mean by that is, as you mentioned before, the stage, the colors being presented, having the overhead lights shining down on the people so that when a photographer like you is taking shots, that you get even better shots than having the Home Depot floodlights actually wash you out. True. There's not just a typical black curtain, which I do realize some photographers like. They like the black curtain. It's simple, it's basic, it's snap, 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 go. You know what I mean? Brian takes the time to make sure that all of the competitors are well taken care of. He makes himself available to them for limited questions. You know what I mean? He's not gonna give you anything that's gonna, help you win that first or second place, but he will give you the best advice that he possibly has.
Well, you know that how the show goes. I mean, we call it organized chaos. For the first few sections of it. But it's been, I gotta, just say that everything's been really falling into place.
Right.
I mean, it was a time at the beginning of the year I didn't think anything was going to work out. It was just trying very hard, calling on celebrities, trying to get celebrity contracts to see who we can bring in. Everything was just flying around. And then finally, just all the pieces of the puzzle started coming together very towards the end, and it's turned out very well. I'm very happy with the Oakdale.
Right.
Very happy with them.
Of course.
Very supportive. The backstage area is just massive. There's just so much room, and the dome is going to be very interactive. And bringing in Tony Horton. And that's something that I talked to Alan about, helping me in covering that. And, I passed along his website to the publicist for Tony, and they loved his work.
Nice.
So, it's definitely all coming together very well.
See that, Alan? Tony Horton loves your work.
Listen, I've got to tell you something. When I got that email from Brian, I'm telling you, I was really, really impressed, and I felt honored, I felt respected, because these people deal with a million top professional photographers all day long.
Right.
Very, very covetous of the images that are being taken and who's taking those images. And for somebody to say, yep, that guy's okay with us, that meant a lot to me. And Brian really worked hard to get me into that position. And, one of the things that I want to go back to the event itself. There are a lot of events that get put on. They're huge machines. They're machine-like. Mm-hmm. And I think that there's a lot of people that, listen, they participate in them because they're looking for whatever the benefits are that they can garner from the show. What separates out Fitness Atlantic is really Brian. There's a personal involvement. If you see Brian backstage, I mean, he's handing out energy bars. He's bringing people bottles of water. He's from sun up till sundown, he is making sure that every one of the people that are there, that they feel comfortable. It's almost as if he's invited his family of a couple thousand people to come visit.
Yeah.
And he wants to make them feel at home.
Right.
That's a very unique thing. And that's what brings out the people to an event like this, because they know they're going to get treated right. And not only are they going to get treated right, they're going to be showcased in the best possible way. So I feel really honored to be able to be a participant in this. And I joke, I say I'm going to be following Brian around to see what we can do to stay awake till the end of it. But I'm really looking forward to being able to capture a lot of the stuff that goes on. First, I'm really excited to be able to shoot Tony Horton. Looking forward to shooting a lot of the behind-the-scenes activities, front of the house, the actual competitions themselves, and to try to get images of the kinds of things that maybe somebody else isn't necessarily looking at. Talk with some of the vendors, take a look at what they're promoting, and talk to people that are in attendance and be able to photograph some of those people, because those are people that have an interest in in Fitness Atlantic and in the fitness industry in general, and we want to be as inclusive as we possibly can so that when people go to look at Fitness Atlantic 2011, they'll say, yeah, no, I was there, and it was an unbelievable show. So I have a lot of responsibility in that regard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think we'll get some great images, just especially the Tony Horton part. I can't wait to see some pictures of just all those people doing the workout. I mean, it's just...
That's going to be really, really exciting, and we're bringing some really special glass to create some really interesting, very, very inclusive. Every single person in that building will be. If you had 1 million people in there, they'd all be in the picture.
I could imagine that, like a wide-angle lens, a big shot of everybody that they're doing that workout on the, the P90X floor. I mean, it's just going to be pretty amazing. Yeah,
I have some ideas of how we're going to actually shoot that from above and below, and how we're going to light that up, and I think that's going to be really great. And that's, the technical parts aside, I'm excited just to be able to see it myself because I think it's going to be an unbelievable part of the day. I mean, to be able to work out with Tony Horton in such a fabulous venue. Oh my gosh, Brian, that's off the hook crazy.
Every time I walk into the Oakdale and I just look at that lobby, I could just picture it. I could just imagine exactly what it's going to look like. And the fact that the Oakdale, a lot of people don't understand it, but the Dome used to be the theater itself. So the audio system is amazing.
Yes.
There's truss lighting hanging from overhead. So they're going to walk in, and that's where they actually wanted to rent the theater to me. It was just here, run it in the Dome. And I'm like, no, it's not what I do, but I can definitely use this.
Yeah.
And I could see it as something being very interactive, where you're hitting more of a fitness market.
Yep.
And not just being the typical bodybuilding show, but really becoming a fitness event, a major fitness event where now you have a fitness celebrity giving a workout, you walk past that, and then into this amazing theater that has, almost 5,000 seats. It has, the overhead rooms, the suites up there, the skyboxes, the theater itself. I mean, just the staging we're able to do now at the Oakdale is just really cool because now we have full production. We can go with the haze, the moving headlights. The backdrop is not going to be those banners anymore. It's now the entire backdrop is a projector image of moving logos and animation, and very exciting. So finally get to really do the show I wanted to do, which we weren't able to in the last venue. So I mean, it's really able to step it up and let people see, and hopefully that overflow of people coming in for the Tony Horton workout, they'll walk in and now see Fitness Atlantic and say, you know what, this is actually pretty cool.
Right. Okay. Now, Alan.
Yes.
As Brian is talking about the projector and the projector spinning and the concert lights and, possibly a fog machine, so on and so forth like that, do you feel for your particular style of shooting that would make it difficult for you to get the kind of shots you want, or would that pose an interesting challenge, or is that something that you feel would be like, you know what, I just can't wait to shoot something like that?
Great question. I really am looking forward to shooting that because I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
Right.
Yep.
Again, I guess I have to go back and plug my website, Alan Bear Photography. If you take a look at even my celebrity gallery, for example.
Yes.
Those images were captured under some of the most bizarre, horrific lighting circumstances that you can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
I really cut my teeth on shooting in black holes that had lasers shooting through them.
Wow.
And if you can, so it's like, I don't want to say if you can shoot in that, you can shoot anything.
Yeah.
But, I've shot in every major venue in Manhattan, for example. And, you're walking into a cave with lighting. I can't begin to tell you how challenging it is. What's going to be at Oakdale is going to be, I don't want to say a cakewalk, but it's going to be fabulous.
Right.
Because it's high, most professional quality lighting that there is. It's going to be really great. It's going to add to the punch of the overall performance, and I'm excited to shoot it. I really think it's going to look great. And in terms of it presenting a challenge, yeah, you know what? It's always a challenge, but I'd like to think that separates myself and a few other people from everybody else.
Right.
That's what I like to hear, because we do talk, through the years, we talk to photographers that just like is white light blasting at people and nothing going on, because it's almost like they want to grab their studio shots but on stage. It's like, let me just shoot everybody the same so I could crop them and I could just pop them out of the background. And it's like, I love seeing those shots where you see a beam of light behind somebody. You see the smoke and the haze come up behind them, and it looks like they're on a rock concert stage.
Right.
It just makes them look great. I can never understand why somebody wants such a basic photo from a stage. It's like, take them backstage and shoot that stuff. You can do it all day long.
The reason for that is because there are a lot of people that do photography. They've done it for a very, very long time. They have a set formula for the way that they take a picture. They could do it in their sleep. They don't ever have to wonder whether the settings are correct or not. So that's what they shoot. The result is, it might be consistent, but it's sure not interesting. And there's not really any art to that. It's just a matter of setting up a couple of pieces of mechanical apparatus and pushing a button.
Right.
And, you're really not capturing the person. Like you said, really, the people that are on that stage, they are like rock stars.
Right.
They should be coming out there. That environment should be rocking. It should be colorful. There should be great music. It should be, it's going to be pumping right through you. So what you do and what you've done in the past, what you're going to do this time, it's going to create that kind of an environment. And the images that result, they're just going to be wild.
Right.
You know what? I definitely agree. Listen, we got to take another commercial break. I want you to stay tuned. When I come back, I got a round of rapid-fire questions that I want to ask you. And I also want to tell you what I think is my favorite Alan Berry photo. All right? So, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to The Body Shop. Stay tuned. I'll be back with my guest host, Mr. Alan Berry.
Thank you for breaking new ground with FTNS, world's first fitness radio. FTNS Radio reaches out to over 70 million online radio listeners in North America who can log in via the web at ftns.co from any computer, mobile device, or download the free FTNS iPhone app. FTNS Radio will include a wide range of shows such as strength training, bodybuilding and figure, nutrition, motivation, family, youth, elderly fitness, wellness, lifestyle fitness, interviews with professionals and enthusiasts, and much more. Programming will contain a mixture of live studio shows, but encourage listeners to call 650-ASK-FTNS or tweet in. Shows hosted over the phone, as well as remote recorded shows where our hosts travel to the story. FTNS Radio is the missing link to help make fitness personal and create a stronger community. FTNS helps listeners to focus, train, nourish, sustain, and foster the fitness community. Follow FTNS on Facebook.com/GoFTNS. Stay tuned for more exciting new shows as we build the fitness community brick by brick. Tune in at 10 a.m. Eastern for Fit You. Your hosts, John and Kelly, will discuss fitness, nutrition, and a lifestyle that will fit you. At noon Eastern, it's time for Jumpstart. Chad and Kat will help you sort through all the fitness myths with the experts in a high-energy format that will definitely pump you up. Listen in to Your Health is Your Wealth with Dr. Cindy at 1 p.m. Eastern. Naturopathic Dr. Cindy Anderson will help you understand your body from a holistic approach. At 3 p.m. Eastern Time, listen to The Nutrition Scoop with nutritionist Jerry Zatkoff. She will cover the latest and ever-changing nutrition information. The Body Shop at 9 p.m. Eastern. It's no accident. Hosts Andre Bricks, St. Clair, and Brian Canone share with you the reality of the bodybuilding and fitness modeling industry as they follow challengers through the Fitness Atlantic competition. This is FTNS. Need FTNS on the go? There's an app for that. Download the FTNS app for your iPhone, iPad, or iPod Touch now. FTNS, world's first fitness radio, will keep you moving.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to The Body Shop. I am your host, Andre Bricks St. Clair. My in-studio co-host is Mr. Brian Canone. And on the phone, we have Mr. Alan Berry of AlanBerryPhotography.com. I want to plug the website one time myself. Before the break, we found out some very interesting tidbits about Alan. He favors the Nikon camera. That's his favorite camera. He's actually shot the late great Paul Newman. Ladies and gentlemen, as you've heard, okay, one thing about Alan that particularly stands out in my mind, Alan, is that you remember the people that you set up photo shoots with. And the reason I say that is I mentioned Tiffany Tillinger, and I mentioned that you took her to a mansion and you did that photo shoot. And I asked you what that experience was like, okay? And your response to me, believe it or not, was not what I actually expected. I was expecting to hear, oh yeah, Tiffany was a great girl and the photo shoot went well, etc., etc. Instead, you actually spoke very, very highly of Tiffany, gave details, and even mentioned her fiance, Sean Larson. What that says to me, and hopefully to our listeners, is that here's someone that cares enough about you to take the time to get to know something about you, and it's not just out just to take your money, have a good time, here's a couple of photos. So, that really speaks volumes to your character in my eyes.
Well, thank you so much for saying that. I really appreciate it. I just like to try to treat people the way I want to be treated. To me, what could be better than having a great day together where you're going to create some fabulous images and have a good time? So, so thanks very much. I really do appreciate that. That means a lot.
No, you know what? It was actually my pleasure because, again, when you're hearing something like that, and now Tiffany is a friend of mine, so when I'm hearing something like that, and I know you've never met me and this is our first conversation, but I'm hearing the way that you're speaking of this young lady, this young woman, and, you're not talking about her like, a typical photo shoot. You're talking about her in a personal sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that transcends out to our listeners in a very positive sense. So I want to thank you for that. Okay, now let's get ready for a set of rapid fire questions, okay? So I'm going to ask you some questions and I just want you to answer with the first thing that comes to your mind. You ready? Alan? Hey, Al, you there? Oh, I think we lost him.
Is he really? We lost him.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right. Well, I think we lost Alan. I'm going to have our producer try to get him back on the line. But in the meantime, Brian.
Yep.
With Alan talking so positively about your show, about, the difference of your show, what does that mean to you as a promoter, okay? Not so much the work you've put in, but to hear the accolades that somebody else is giving you. Like, what does that mean to you?
Well, what's nice about Alan is honestly, I can't remember exactly how I met him, but I know it was through Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I know there was some way through Facebook that we met. I saw some of his pictures of the celebrities there and just sort of invited him to the show. And it's always difficult when you meet like a local photographer who either is just a beginner or has some kind of experience in it. There's always something that's hard because they a lot of photographers expect to just show up at the show and just fill their pockets with money signing up people, and they come from an area where when they get to a show they just think, well, it's a moneymaker. Right. And that's exactly what you're talking about right now, and how he was with Tiffany, how he is with the girls. That's what I'm always looking for.
Right.
That person that can help me have a great relationship with a competitor, which Alan did last year with Tiffany, because that winning that photo shoot with Alan meant more to her than any other shoot. Now, she won other packages.
Yes, she did.
But she wasn't interested in the other packages. She liked his work.
Mm-hmm.
And that day at the mansion, going into the pool and inside the house and all that stuff that she did, those whirlpools and just everything about it was just like, to her, was just an amazing experience and a lot of fun. And he's someone that just took such a personal interest in it and had so much fun with it himself.
Right.
That's different. I mean, I can't tell you how many photographers I meet that just look at it as a business deal. You ask them, hey, do you want to come cover this show? And they're like, are there anybody else covering it? It's like they want to be the only guy there with a camera. It's like, and they want to sign every single person up to make money. Now, can these people make a lot of money? Probably. They could probably sign up a lot of people and make money. But you have to try to make money by loving what you do, having a passion for it, and having a great product.
And all three of those things is exactly what Alan does, has, and actually personifies.
Yeah.
I'm being told that we have Alan back on the line. Alan, how you doing, man?
I'm sorry about that.
Oh, don't worry about it. You know, you know what? For a minute there, I thought you hung up on me because you was afraid of the rapid fire questions.
I got to tell you, I was getting to the point where the intimidation level was. But I'm back.
It's pretty funny, man. Great sense of humor. You know. All right. Now, Alan, do you remember when you first met Brian, and if so, how?
Well, I actually met Brian at Fitness Atlantic. I don't remember. I got to tell you, I'm a little foggy on the details of how we actually connected.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Brian could fill you in more on that.
I thought it was through Facebook somehow.
Yeah, well, I think we did connect on Facebook to begin with, and
Yep.
that's one of the most that's always interesting, right?
Yeah.
And I can tell you the first moment that I met Brian. He looked me straight in the eye, gave me a firm handshake, and said hello and let me get your credentials. But I could also see that while he was doing that, his eyes and head were in 50 different places.
Yep.
All taking care of everything that needed to be done. I said, wow, this guy, he's intense.
Yeah.
That's my initial reaction.
Okay. All right. Now, before the break, I did promise that I was going to tell you what my favorite Alan Berry photography shot was. Now, it is a celebrity photo, and it is the one you took at the Shrine at MGM Grand at Foxwoods. It was the one of DJ AM, where he's actually on stage and he was going through, I think it was like 32 CDs at the time, and he was just doing a crazy set. And you had like the different lights and the club type of setting. And that was the reason that I kind of asked you about, with Brian having the projector and the turning holograms and all that stuff. Would that pose a challenge to you?
Thank you very much. It's one of my favorites as well. There's another photo I have of AM, which I tell you, I speak about him with such terrible mixed feelings, because his loss was just
absolutely.
He's incredible talent and a wonderful person, and but he brought what he brought to the stage when he performed. Oh my God, there was him and everybody else.
Right.
And I was very, very lucky that I got to shoot him on a couple of occasions. And in fact, I have one photograph of him where I got him to sit down. I don't remember where we're sitting. And to me, it's a very iconic photograph of him. And when he died, that photograph became like, people wanted that photograph because he wasn't smiling, he wasn't on the turntables, it was just straight up, here I am. And that's, to me, that shot meant the most to me, because I remember him that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember him in the booth, and oh my God, he was that picture really tried to capture that level of energy.
Right.
And speaking about the technical side of that, what you saw, what you might have perceived, what was going on, pitch black. 5,000 different colored lights, all different color temperatures, all different frequencies, all different types of movements, smoke, I think fog, rain.
All the elements.
Right.
Yeah. So you shoot right through that. You just got to be ready and just go with it. But I was very blessed to be able to get that picture. I feel like a lot of times I've just been very, very blessed. I've had the opportunity to be at places where there are wonderful people, had the opportunity to photograph them. They've been genuinely nice to me, for the most part. And it's really been just a terrific, terrific opportunity for me to do something that I love. I get paid for it, and that I get to meet the people that I do and experience what I do. It's a phenomenal opportunity, and meeting Brian, being able to work with Brian, and the Fitness Atlantic operation. This is why I do what I do. I have to tell you, because to be able to work with people that are equally passionate about what they do, and who are committed and who strive to do the best. Man, I tell you what, that's who I want to be around. That's who I want to associate myself with.
Wow. Nicely said. Let's get into a couple of quick rapid fire questions, because our fans, they do like that. So, in your personal opinion, who would you rather shoot, Lindsay Lohan or Kim Kardashian?
Kim.
Okay.
I've shot both of them. Lindsay, I like to shoot. Kim, I like to photograph.
All right, there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, you were listening to The Body Shop. My guest was Alan Berry of AlanBerryPhotography.com. Alan will be at the Oakdale Theater this April 16, 2011. He will be there to present, to be photographing the overall Bikini Diva, and he will be giving out a wonderful package. Let's see what he has in store. Alan, thank you so much for calling into The Body Shop.
Guys, thank you very much for having me. I really, really appreciate it.
You know what? Pleasure was all ours. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, always remember, success breeds envy. The best revenge you can have is to be successful. I am your host, Andre Brick St. Clair, signing off from my co-host, Mr. Brian Canone. Always remember, man, keep God first. Everything will be okay. The best of the best. Listen to FTNS. Gotta go. See you when I see you.